Hi everyone, welcome back. This is our third class on the concept of time. We've looked at it from an intellectual standpoint and a biological standpoint, and today we're going to look at it from an emotional one. As we've seen, clocks and watches provide our most reliable measurement of time, but they may be just a convenient fiction because they present time as marching steadily, predictably forward. But we know in our own lives that time can feel compressed or stretched or altogether missing, like there is no time. In fact, it was Einstein who first posited the idea that time was subjective. And he said it was based on 5 traits: age, attention, context, emotional state, and movement. And today we'll look at it from an emotional standpoint. As we know, time is threaded through everything that we do. It's there in the hint of a kiss and the memory of a starry night, but we have no organ of time. There's no nose or eyes of time. And time has no physical properties. There's no taste or sense of time. So what time is a question we still haven't quite answered. So there's a phrase that we only use 10% of our brain, but really scientists posit that the brain is parsing all of the stimuli around us all the time and only presenting 10% of that stimuli to us. So in order not to overwhelm us. But in that process, we are looking at the past and the present and the future and making sense of our world in real time so as how to react to it. And so much of that is dependent on your emotional state. Psychologists say we have 6 emotional states: happiness, sadness, fear, anger, surprise, and disgust. So beyond our external senses, these are the filters through which we understand our sense of time. So we can be sitting in a meeting that is incredibly boring, and a minute will feel like an hour. On the other hand, we can be in life-threatening situations, and a minute can feel like an hour because there's so much information for the brain to process. It's taking so much time that your concept of time is completely expanded. On the other hand, if you're enjoying yourself, there's a phrase that says time flies when you're having fun, like there is no time. So I can't say how many times a day I speak to people who say, I have no time, I'm way too busy. And our lives are speeded up. We're driving at cars at 40 or 50 miles an hour. We've got 12 tabs open on our browser, in emails coming in, we go from meeting to meeting. So it's really time for us to take control of our understanding and concept of time. And we can do so through a couple of exercises that I wanted to explain here today. And one of them is simply slow time down. And we can do that by just going for a walk. As I say, we're sitting in our car going by at 30, 40 miles an hour. You'll always want to get somewhere faster. But if you just go for a walk, even if it's around the block, where you have nowhere to go, nowhere to be, there's no time limit on how you need to arrive there, you'll find that you can expand your concept of time. You can make time your friend. And if you can, go further, go for a hike. We have such amazing landscapes here in Los Angeles. We have beaches where you can go for long walks. We have mountains where you can do wonderful hikes in beautiful weather. Go outside, take a walk. It's very easy, and it doesn't have to take a long time. The other thing I would suggest is, and I'll take an example from my own life, I used to rush through my breakfast in the morning feeling like I didn't have enough time and I had to get out the door. And I would cut the mango and inevitably cut my finger and have to run and get a Band-Aid. Or I would spill the juice on the floor and have to mop it up, and I would spill the coffee grains and slam the cabinet doors, all the while rushing, just to simply get out the door, and then I was already in this hyper-agitated state. So I watched a program called Chef's Table, and they interviewed this chef named Alain Passard, who has a Michelin-starred restaurant in Paris called Arpège. And he said, everything I do, I look at like it's a gesture, like part of a whole symphonic movement. And it literally changed my life. And I thought, I can do that too in the morning. So I can open a cabinet and make it feel like a note that's part of a symphonic orchestra. And I can do the same with the drawers and the cutting of the mango and the pouring of the juice. And then I found that I make so much fewer mistakes. I'm not having to run for the Band-Aids, and I'm not having to mop up the kitchen floor. And in fact, spending that much of my attention and focus on each task, I found that I had so much more time. Breakfast took less time. And not only that, it tasted amazing. So now in the mornings, I'm not just making breakfast. I'm making a symphony. So the idea is, can you focus, use your attention and your focus to bring an expansiveness to your day, an expansiveness to your concept of time. Time can be your friend and your ally. You just have to create enough of it for yourself. So think about it. See if you can practice these tasks in this mindful way at home. And if you find it works for you, try spreading it out to other activities. And I hope you have more time. Thank you.